What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode with the Firm Podcast. You already know we got Charles in the building. We got Nick. What's up, Nick?
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Hey, listen, y'all. We got an amazing episode for you today. We got a super special guest, and I'm gonna just go ahead and let Nick introduce our amazing guest.
So today, man, we had a guest that somebody who knows me, they know this person is near and dear to my heart. They know this is my heartbeat. This is the foundation of our family. But wanted to do an episode where we kind of featured someone who was just inspiring. I guess we've been talking about these people who just kind of control a special space in your heart. So today we have no other than my OG, my grandmother, Miss Mattie Rushing. Welcome to the show, Grandma.
Welcome.
You want to say anything to the people?
I am so thankful to be invited for the grandma of the year.
Oh, you grandma of the year?
Years and years, many years.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about.
So let me go and cut you right now. And we want the gangster grandma. Now, don't try to get these people on this show, this professional grandma. We need Mattie. We need Mattie triple OG. So go and relax. Go and relax. So, Grandma, let's ask you this question. When were you born?
I was born November the 26th, 11/26/36.
So 1936. For those who don't know, my grandmother just recently turned 87 years old.
I'm telling you, what a blessing.
87.
Yes, it truly was a blessing. I spent it in the hospital, but I enjoyed it with my grandchildren. They were there with me. Thanksgiving dinner was with them. So I really enjoyed it. And my birthday was coming up that Sunday, and they were there with me for Thanksgiving, and they went back home and come back.
So let's get into it, bro. Let's go ahead and break into it.
All right,
So
okay.
you're gonna wind down a little bit.
Okay, all right. So talk to me about it. Like 1936. You've seen a whole lot, but what was your childhood like? Let's talk about that for a little while.
Well, my childhood, I was raised in Georgia, Eastman, Dodge County, Georgia. And my mother and dad, my dad got killed when I was born. And I never knew my dad. But I had two brothers, too. And I'm the older one of my mama 4 children. And so by that means, I went to live in Detroit, Michigan, my life.
What up, though? Detroit.
There in Detroit in that cold snow
Mm-hmm.
and all of that. But I was coming home to family, funerals and this and that. Whatever happened, my mama kept me in touch with my brothers and her. And she came to Detroit in the summertime with my brothers. And we enjoyed that. And I came back to live with them when I was 17 years old. But I went to school up there all the rest of that time. And my sister, I had a sister, Catherine, she passed. And then when I came back to live with them, I met my husband.
Oh, hold on. We can stop right there. Hold on. We're going to get to that one. That's a whole other story. Hold on. We're going to get to that one. Let me ask you this. How was it being the oldest girl dealing with the loss of your father?
Well, really, the older people were the one that told me about how he was and how good he was to me and the family. He was a working man picking cotton and different things on the farm. Real good. And I don't know what really happened. Somebody was mad or angry about something, so they say, and dodged out the road and struck him and drug him. And that's how we ended up in Detroit with my aunt, because she didn't have any children. So my sister and I went back to live with her, and that's where we were schooled at.
Let me ask you this. What was the biggest difference moving from the South to the North, other than cold weather? I know that was a major shock.
It was a lot different. I couldn't really get used to it, being away from time. Yeah, but I didn't really know too much about it because I was about 8 years old. And I wasn't, my sister was 18 months.
Oh, wow.
Oh, when she went up.
So you were 8 and your sister was 18 months?
Wow. I was the oldest. Wow. Yeah.
So y'all moved to Detroit so that your
we
mama
lived with my aunt up there after my dad was killed.
So she sent the 2 girls up north and kept the boys down south.
The boys
the
were
boys
there.
had to work,
my
correct?
mama had remarried too to my stepdad. He was wonderful. He was good too. He didn't want us to go, but with the older ones, they thought that it might be better, it would help her some if we went to live with her, and she didn't have any children. And she would bring us back to funerals and what else, and they would come to visit us in Detroit. And so that was the way it was.
So let me ask you this, what was your favorite childhood memory that you can remember as a child?
As a child, I can remember my aunt's husband. He would go off, and I would sneak in the car and hide in the back seat and get out. But I spend time out and get lost because he'd be gone back, ready to go back. And I didn't have time to get back in the car.
So how you get home?
They came back, he did, and got me. And that's the way it was.
So I know you got in trouble then.
Yeah, bad trouble, man.
Bad trouble.
Mm-hmm. They say I was kind of more harder than my sister was. Well, she was smaller, and I was older than she was. But she was younger. So she was a lot easier.
So you said you came back to Georgia when you were 17.
17.
Did you live with your mom at that point, or were you on your own?
I lived with my mom and my stepdad on the farm, and my brothers on the farm. They were farming. And we'd go to town at 12 o'clock or something after then, but always, my stepdad always told them, y'all see about them girls. And he made it sure that they took care of us. He was a real sweet stepdaddy.
So Charles hit a point. So you moved. So then now you back home.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: when did you meet
Granddad?
Joseph Rushing?
I met him through my brothers. They went to school with him. They were schoolmates together. And they went to school together. And he said, they always told me, I got some sisters up in Detroit.
Want to see the fine girl from Detroit.
And so when I came down, I met him. And he had lots of them, too. He
a lot of women?
Yeah. He had a lot of them.
Granddad was a player, huh?
Yes, he was. He was a player. And I had 2 stepbrothers in the playing part. He was a player, but I held on to it.
You held on?
Yeah, well, he didn't.
Oh, we supposed to walk that walk. So let somebody tell me, Granddaddy said he loved you because you was fine and you had that long hair. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. You were fine. You had that long hair, that long, nice curly hair.
Yeah, he had to pick between, but he couldn't bet me because I was smarter than he was.
Oh, so he couldn't play a player.
Once I got in there, I knew the corners, you know, who was who and what was what going on. And he told me about the boys and stuff. And I said, well, whatever. They didn't ask to be here, but that's another problem. They were real nice boys. Preachers. They preachers.
Granddaddy's brother was preachers?
Roy and Kenny.
Oh, no. Let's go on. No, don't go there yet. Oh, let's go back. Let's go back. So let me ask this. Where was Granddaddy's, you remember y'all first date?
We went to the movies, but really, we couldn't go. I couldn't go to the movies.
Oh, so you sneaking out again? So you sneaking out again?
No, my brother had to go if we went to the movie.
Oh, I know your grandma knew probably you talk about it. You had to send the brother to the movie with her. Yeah.
They chauffeured you out. You didn't go on your own on dates.
Let me ask you, how much was the movie?
The movie wasn't too much. Wasn't too much. Long in the end.
Don't tell me that's from like a nickel.
Pretty good, but the Cokes was about 6 cents.
The Cokes?
The drink.
Coke.
Wow, 6 cents. Man.
And penny wheel cookies was a penny wheel, big round cookie.
Wow.
They called like gingerbread cookies, big round cookies. Good.
So you said y'all first date was a movie. Let me ask this. When did you know that you were in love with him?
Well, I don't know. I just figured he was just my type, kind of, and I could go get along with him, kind of. But we had our times together.
Oh, no, we're going to get into them times. Hold on. So, okay. So let me ask this. What I've always heard, and you hear people from like, where my grandparents are from, either McRae, Eastman, and Telfair County, Dodge County area. You always hear people call my grandfather Bill. So if you hear somebody say Bill, that's his little nickname. But people used to always say Bill was a trash talker who never play basketball. If you seen my grandfather, he probably stood about 5'9", 5'8", gonna talk trash from the time he walk in to the time he leave. He probably stands, again, like I said, about 5'8", 5'9", but probably weighs, and my grandma probably can quote this too, probably about 120 pounds. On a good day. That's a good day. With rocks in his pocket.
That's right.
But he loved his family. He loved his family.
Yeah, he loved his family.
So when did y'all get married?
We got married in, 1954. In September 1954 at the courthouse in Dodge County. Yeah, we got married there. Well, it wasn't too long after I came home that we got married.
Oh, so he knew what he wanted right then, huh? He had to go lock that up.
It wasn't too long. Because he knew my brothers, all of them. He always based about them telling them about their sister up in Detroit. And
That granddad tell he was down in Miami running like a player for real. He said he was down in Miami running like a real player.
But listen,
he was.
You said 54. That means you got married when you were 18?
Uh-huh. I got married. And he was born in 33. And I was born in 36.
So what was life? I mean, 18-year-old married couple. How y'all make it? How y'all start out? What was life like?
Well, we lived with his mama a little bit and my mom. And they were on the farm, but then we kind of lived by ourselves, but I don't know. I being married then, I just couldn't, I wanted to go back home. I didn't want to, stay there. Like, he'd go out at night and places with, he still was running around. So I'd go out with them, and I didn't want to be there myself, by myself in the house. And I'd go back to my mama's and stay with her. So that's the way it mostly was. I just and stay with them like that. But when he come and get me the time, I go back. So
Go ride for
go
my man,
right
my
back.
man, my man, my man. What they say, my
Go
man, my
right
man.
So we get right back together every time. We get right back together every time.
So it sounds like to me, y'all were young and just kind of going through the ups and downs of a marriage.
Yeah, and know what?
How did you feel when you first became a mother?
I felt good, Jackie. Your mama was my baby.
So, and so mom was your first child. So those you don't know, Jackie's my mother. So that's her oldest child.
Yeah.
So, and you say motherhood was just felt great. So I know as it went along, I know you ended up having more. You ended up having my Uncle Robert, my Uncle JR, my Bert, my Uncle Albert.
5 children. Me and him had 5 children together. Jackie and brother and Albert and Robert and Bert.
Yeah. 2 girls. So
All
for those you don't know, 2
together.
girls, 3 boys. And then you had two bonus sons. 2 bonus sons, 2 extras.
Yeah, 2 extras.
Yes, ma'am.
That's preacher God.
So describe motherhood.
Why,
so you said,
why you say the 2 extras?
She had 2 bonus.
Okay.
Yeah.
She had 2 bonus. So they had 5 children. So my grandparents had 5 children total together, and they had 2 bonus.
Gotcha.
My grandfather had 2, and then the two other young men, they became my other uncle. They became pastors. That's what you were just saying. They were pastors.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they were.
But I'm gonna tell you this.
They were around with the children. All of them was together. He would bring them, make sure they worked. He'd make sure they do what they did. They had to do what he was raising our family that we had together to do.
Yes, ma'am.
They had to do that, learn to work. And so they got them good to be compared with the other children. They knew each other.
And I think even me as a kid, I remember that, like, vaguely remember as a kid that my grandfather had two kids outside of their marriage. But I knew for me, man, my grandmother, she never treated my uncle Roy or my uncle Roy
And Kenny.
or my Uncle Kenny any different. It was like they were her own. Like even if you tell her today, they gonna say that's their mama. They still come to see my grandmother. She's still gonna go see them. It's like it was never any difference. You know, it's like the situation was the situation, but those are my children. And that's truly how she viewed them, like they were her children. Even like my grandfather, I remember my grandfather used to go pick them up and go bring them to the house, let them work, and then drive them back home. Or he did go pick them up, drive them to where they were preaching at, drop them off, and then come back home. So he was an active father, but I think my grandmother just jumped in like, man, they're my boys. They're my boys. Those are my boys.
How it happened, I told them I don't have nothing against them, the women. I didn't have anything against them at all, and they didn't me. They were all together. It was just like a family.
That's all right. That's all right.
That's why I say you can work with them. They call 9 and they be back, mama and whatever. all the time, calling me.
But I think even for a lot of people, the people who watch even, I think that's always a key takeaway. Like the kids didn't ask to be here. They didn't ask to be
They
here.
didn't ask
They
to
did
be
not ask.
here.
And it's like,
His grandmama had him, and he was trying to come get him to Cam, but she said, you done married now, and you need to be with your wife and tell. And his grandma was raising him, you know. And he go to school, he put my name on his papers at school as his mama. Mm-hmm.
so let me ask you, what was your happiest moment during the marriage?
It was happy times and sad times too, so I don't know. It just all went together. Like I said, it always brought you back to where you was. You couldn't leave without coming back, and there you be right back together. So I say, like most people nowadays, they done broke up long ago. But the young people, they wasn't gonna put up with all of that.
So basically,
But
what you're
we
saying now is
did.
these people, they quit too soon now. They ain't
We
that.
did. They didn't go through the things we went through. They stay there. They was out of there.
They get out of there too quick. Understand?
No.
What is it? Why was it once once you got married, y'all were committed to staying married? Why was that?
My children, I'd always wanted to keep them together too. All of them, I wanted them all to be together.
Do you think that's because you had to go to Detroit, and so you was like, I don't want that for them. I want them to have to be able to stay together.
Decide for themselves. I went to Detroit, but
it wasn't your decision.
It wasn't my decision because I was just 8 years old.
Yeah.
And I missed my mama and brother and them, but here I had to live a life in there anyway, so wasn't that pleasant, but I made the best of it. My mom was good to us and going to school and everything, but I don't know, it's just sometimes you just feel like nothing take the place of your mama. If they scold at you, you say, I want my mama. Because they aren't your mama. She just was my aunt.
But it's good your aunt stepped in, but I can definitely understand like your mom. Like me and Charles we talk about it all the time on the show saying like, you always second behind the mama. I don't care how great of a dad you are, you always gonna be second to mama.
That's how that works.
I'm laughing because as you were talking about the kids and you wanted to keep the kids together, I was laughing because I remember Mom used to always tell me how you and Granddad used to drag them to the nightclub, and they used to have to sit in the nightclub while you and Granddad go dance.
Yeah.
So you imagine in those days, in the 50s and the 60s, bro, you dragging your kids in the nightclub with the smoking and drinking going on so you and your wife could dance. So you got 5 kids just sitting in the corner of the table.
Yeah.
They got to watch y'all dancing. My mommy said they would go to 2 to 3 nightclubs every night, man, just dance all night long.
I like to dance, and he liked to drink. And I like to dance, and he liked to drink.
It came together.
That's where it was.
Yeah.
And that's where the confusion come in a lot. It just, I be happy every day, but don't let him get a little drink. And oh, Lord, that throws it all out of proportion. Yeah. That's the way it always was with us.
Mm-hmm.
If he didn't get nothing to drink, I could tell when he drank and when he first come in and say something, it ain't good.
You laugh. See, this is what you say, Charles.
It's on now.
So check this
It's
out.
on now.
It's on. You heard that. You heard it.
Yes,
Hold on. What's the last phrase you just said?
It's on now.
It's on now. So that's where OG was born right there.
Yeah.
So I'm glad she segued into that. So when we were kids, my grandfather used to get drunk on Fridays.
Yeah.
Every Friday we knew he was going to have him a little taste. He going to get him a taste.
Yeah.
Soon as he clock out of work, he going to get his taste. He come home, he going to start preaching. He gonna preach the whole Bible.
Yeah.
He gonna preach the Bible.
Want you to listen.
And once you listen to him preach now, if you don't listen to him preach, that's a whole nother problem. My granddad ain't gonna drink that bottle. He gonna preach a little bit. He gonna get in the truck, drive back up and get him another bottle, come back home and preach.
And I could drive, and the main thing, he wanted me to drive him back to get some if he wanted. So, not me.
So then he would get drunk. So we sitting there, we just know, just be quiet, just be quiet. Here's my grandmother go. She always got to start an argument with him, got to say something to him. And we sitting there as kids like, just please be quiet, man. Please don't say that. Please don't say that. Here she goes. So what you gonna do?
Don't say nothing.
I said, Grandma, please just don't say nothing. He gonna stop. Because I knew he would get drunk. He probably just gonna pass out.
Yeah.
But here she go, just
Fuel on the
fueling
fire.
the fire.
Yeah.
Fueling the fire. Grandma, please, we begging, please. I'm gonna say what I want to say. He ain't gonna stop me. He ain't gonna stop me. So they would just fuss, and then he'd eventually go to sleep. Nothing too bad, but that was just them. But it's some of my little fondest childhood memories, man. Just laughing at her. But that's where OG was born around that time, because you couldn't get her to close her mouth, man.
But now, see, he wasn't gonna make you be quiet.
No.
No, he wasn't gonna make her be quiet. So
You gonna listen to me. I tell him you gonna listen to me too, son. That's what.
they fight for who gonna listen to each other. So then fast forward, mom goes off to college. She gets married. She gets married to my father. My grandfather doesn't want to come to her wedding because he don't want to give his baby girl away. So he didn't come to the wedding. That's how much he loved his girls. He didn't show up to the wedding.
Didn't come. He said you can
He
go.
He was drunk.
He
went and got drunk
but
and
he
didn't
said
come to the
you
wedding.
can go.
Told her she can go.
Go with the children. I don't care. You could go. And so the one that supposed to be my stepson in St. Petersburg, he come and got me, him and his wife. I said, I got to go to my daughter's wedding. I said, you ain't going. I went on. We went on both. They picked me up and we went on. He was all right with it, but he wasn't going, he said. He said, I ain't giving her away no how. She already got a husband, and I ain't in it. Well, he was like that. He told him. He told my.
Hold on, you done jumped. Well, we was bring you back. Hold on, we was bring you back. So you done went to a husband. You know, he didn't come. So what I was hearing is my grandfather didn't go to my mom's wedding when she married my father. So he didn't go to neither one of her weddings because my mother's been married twice. So he didn't go neither time. He didn't go either time. So he didn't want to give my mom to my dad. He didn't want to. So he didn't even go that way.
Yeah.
So fast forward, lo and behold. My mother's at Albany State. She gets pregnant. She has me. So my first 2 years of life, I'm raised by my mother. I mean, my grandmother and my grandfather. Grandma, I guess I ask you this. What was that like when you first met me?
Because I was working to the schoolhouse then, driving.
You driving the bus, right?
I rode the bus and got you from the babysitter. I had him to the babysitter.
So what was that like when you first saw your oldest grandson?
Oh, I was glad. I was happy. Hold on to it. Walking around the house holding him. Yeah. That was the heart to me then. The fat chubby son.
Yeah. That's right, OG. Yeah, get into it. What was he like growing up? What was Nick like?
Fat chubby.
Man.
Probably as a baby.
I was, man. I was a big baby, bro.
Yeah.
Big butterball, bro. I was a big kid, bro. So what else was I like as a kid?
You kept us straight, Bridget, and all the other children. You kept them straight now.
Oh, he always been bossy.
You could keep them straight.
Oh,
Because they wanted to go wild with it in Solomon time. And AJ, he wanted to holler all the way to Albany. I carried him to Albany this summer. And he hollered all the way. I said, well, you just wanted to break yourself in because you going to be here. And he stopped that hollering. I had them all in the summertime. We did. We enjoyed them. And the granddaddy did too. He put them on that. They get on that truck. They love their granddad. But he just had them ways where when he get to drinking, he stopped in the end by the help of the Lord.
you know, it's so funny because we used to be with y'all every summer, and I used to tell people I did not like it. I did not like it, but I loved it.
But then I thought about the time that he said he come through, and I said, well, that was a testament to something other. He had to work, and he had to go to school. But his daddy would whoop him, and he whoop him with barbed wire and stuff, and they were bad, you know, to him. And that was probably detrimental to him to drink like he did and act like he was when he was drinking.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought about. Because he had to stay out of school and work on the farm. And he wanted to go to school. But that's the way I say it was kind of rough on him.
I can definitely see that. I can see that. I can definitely see it.
That's why when he stopped drinking, it was kind of hard. It was just something, it was different. Life was different then when he stopped drinking, but he had that smoking and pursuing, drinking together. Yeah.
I remember going back them summers. I remember them summers used to come to your house. I used to hate, man, that we would I used to hate it, but then like as I got older, I just appreciated it so much more because I think as you older, you really understand how valuable it is just to have time with your grandparents. Cause I remember my mom used to ship us to my grandparents' house the day we got out of school. We'll leave that Friday. She won't pick us up to that Friday before we about to go back. So we'll be down there the whole summer. But she needed her breaks, but it gave me time to bond with my grandparents because like my grandmother used to get up every morning. Breakfast is ready by 7 o'clock. Lunch ready by 11:30. Dinner ready by 5. I'm talking about home cooked meals every time you got a chance. Like
I try to get them go out to get them summer meals that they have at
oh,
the
we used
school.
to cry.
They
We used to cry, bro. Man, you may get them old wet sandwiches, man. Man, you get them wet sandwiches. Then she'll come back home and get us some Spam or something. We get some Spam and cut some Spam and she'll saute the Spam. Yeah, she'll cook it and put it on the sandwich or some bologna or something. But I don't know, man, I just remember that time so much, man.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Those really were.
They were good times. I can say that.
Oh, a good time. I remember that time you beat me when I jumped in your car though, before we went to get the sandwiches.
You tried to drive the car, Nick?
No, what happened was I used to like the Dukes of Hazzard as a kid.
Yeah.
So the Dukes of Hazzard was my favorite show.
Yeah.
So you know how Dukes of Hazzard, how I used to get in General Lee.
Go through the window.
They go through the window.
Yeah.
So she was in the house getting her purse or something. So we had a little Chrysler.
Yeah.
So the windows were down. So I'm running across the yard and trying to jump in the window. She saw me jump in the window. So she jumped on me when she came outside.
Yeah.
See, I still remember that spanking. I ain't get too many now. I ain't get too many spankings now. Nah, we leave them for Bridget. We leave them for Bridget, Grandma. We leave them for Bridget.
That's Nick's sister, everybody. That's Nick's sister, yeah.
I know my sister watching the show, so we gonna leave that for her because she the one got the spanking. She took for us.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna tell the story. I want to tell the story so bad, but I ain't gonna even tell the story.
Yeah, don't talk about it on the podcast. Get in trouble.
So
Talking about Bridget. Bridget. I had her too. That was my oldest son, the one next to his mom. He was born in 1960. And she was born, his mama was born in 59. I can keep up with all the
Yeah,
years.
that's a wonderful thing. 87 years old, you can still run them years back like that.
Yeah,
Sure.
I can't even run back 2 years ago.
Yeah, the years I keep up with them. And Robert was born in '64, and Robert Bert was born in '64, and Robert was born in '66. And I was born in '62.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me ask you this. Let's fast forward a little bit. What was it like when grandfather passed?
It was sad. It was sad because I just can remember him like that. I told him, I said, I'm going to take care of the car and everything. We couldn't keep him home then, but I wanted to keep him home, but I couldn't keep him home. So he had to go in the nursing home, so I would go every morning and stay all day with him at the nursing home. And he watched me right in there. I came, see his clothes being washed and done up and everything, and keeping up with them, because they was, steal your stuff out of there. And I watched his clothes. I told him not to bother them. Let me get them. I pick them up and carry them back and do them myself and bring them back. But I would carry him somewhere, but he wanted to follow me. He watched me when I left and tried to come out of the nursing home. And the girl, she called him, trying to come out. And she told me about it, but she was real nice. Because me and her would be riding there in the nursing home a lot, and she seed about him when I come home at night.
So I should have went back there before I even transitioned there. So my grandfather ended up suffering like I think it was lung disease, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So he had lung disease, but ended up through the process developing like a form of dementia. So around the time we had to put him into a nursing home because it was just becoming too much. Like he may just, get up in the middle of the night and walk out the house or just leave the stove on, just something like that. So it kind of became a lot.
Yeah, I couldn't keep him at
How
home.
long were y'all married before he had to go to the nursing home?
Oh, we've been married a good while. He didn't go to the nursing home he passed in 1906.
He passed in 2006. So he probably nursing home probably like 2004, maybe 2005.
He was out most.
54, that was 50 years.
So after my grandfather passed, I was worried about my grandmother because, typically after, you lose someone, especially for that long amount of time, God, I hate to say it, but usually they follow behind each other. And I think after that, even when we talk about OG, we talk about OG because OG was birthed, so the OG part 2 came around. Because after my grandfather passed, my grandmother just became a more vibrant, exuberant version of herself. Like it was just like it was different. That's when that's the OG. That's when she was she became triple OG then.
Yeah.
Because she was just on some different type of time. Like people they always think I'm lying when I say it. My grandmother just was active, traveled a lot, did a lot more, just was just moving at a different type of time. And that wasn't her norm. Because I think my grandmother was just always a stay-at-home wife, just taking care of the family, whatever that looked like. And I think this time it was like herself. And then she got my mom, and they became Thelma and Louise, so they were traveling every time you turn around, all you seen was headlights, because they just moving somewhere else.
Ready to go.
They moving different. So let me ask you this, Grandma, what made you just kind of reinvent yourself after the...
And brother, he came to stay with us a little bit before your daddy went in there.
Yes, ma'am, he did.
Oh.
He did.
And before he passed. And that was the key, by the help of the Lord, to him that's Bridget's daddy, him not leaving me there to the house by myself. Because he had come from Jacksonville, Florida, up there to stay.
Yeah. So
And that's
my
how
uncle
that
my uncle
was.
transitioned with
Yeah.
them, lived with them for a little while. I think that helped out too.
Uh-huh. And he come to stay, and he said he wasn't going to move out. He was planning on moving out of an apartment, but after then, he wasn't going nowhere. He going to stay there with me after daddy's passed. And so he stayed there with me. And he comes now, he stays with me. When Jackie go out of town, he's up there in the house. We got a house together, me and him. And so we got out of that trailer. We was in a trailer. It was a nice trailer. We stayed in it a good while. Your daddy and Mr. Howard, the white man. You know Mr. Howard.
Mm-hmm.
See about them children, and he seed about them children.
Yeah.
His mama and all of them, whatever they needed, he get. Cause see, a granddaddy was a working man, and he always got the food and drinking, but he worked, and he taught them how to work.
Mm-hmm.
And that man that we were staying with bought the land and gave it to him.
That's a gift.
Gave us that land.
Wow.
And he hoped them children, when they needed something at school, he say, just come to him and tell him. He had passed too, but he was good. And his mama was good too. She was just like he was. They could go up there and she know she was the same way he was about us. So they were good. Two white people.
So my grandfather and my grandma, they lived in a town called Milan, Georgia. So Milan, if you ever go to Milan, it's not even a traffic light in the town. When I grew up as a kid, there's only one store in the whole town. Like a 7-Eleven. It was one store. But
There's one store up there. There's one.
It was one then. But and so then they lived in this area called the Hole. So the Hole was kind of like, well, all the black people lived there. The town was a majority, probably like 90%
place,
white.
Yeah, and I told them about they cutting the food and all of that stuff. I told them I wasn't scared of them. They could stay down there.
We lived in the hood. We lived in the trenches. We lived in the trenches.
I wasn't scared of them.
She wasn't scared now. Yeah. She wasn't scared. See, my granddad would pull his pistol on somebody real quick then too now. He pull his pistol real quick, but it wasn't gonna be no questions asked.
So they knew.
Get to talking too much, he's gonna get pulled out.
Yeah. So they
knew. And he tell you quick, I don't mind popping somebody. So he didn't mind popping nobody.
Granddad sound like my type of brother.
And so they stayed down there. I said, y'all stay on the other end, and we stay up here, because the white man put our trailer in the white front. Ours was in the front, and they knew that he ducked things for us and everything. And they knew that, and they was what you call the hood people, the drug dealers, everything. They wasn't scared neither, they say. So I had to cuss them all out. I told them just like that. I had to cuss them out. I just told them I wasn't scared of them. They could bring in, you know what, on up there.
You can say it. You can say it. You can cuss you want to. Go ahead, let it fly. Let it fly. Let it fly. Go on, let him hear you cuss. Go on, give it to him. Go on, tell him. Go on, tell him.
He been waiting though.
Go on, cuss for him one time.
I told him, I said, I didn't give a damn about them either. If they didn't care about me, but they wasn't going to scare me out from there. Yeah. And I said, I called the police, and I called them again.
Sounds just like you. Who that is?
Boy, in a minute, right away.
I called them again, I say.
So, Grandma, you know that's one of Charles' favorite lines. He tell people, you ain't got to worry about who called the police.
Yeah, I tell you who called. I called. You ain't got to worry about it.
Them. They know I called them. I say, I called them. They coming. I say, you need to feel about it. I call them. And they talking. I say, go on with it, because I didn't give her, you know what, about it. And It's all right down there then, because I ain't care.
They were all right with her. She used to let everybody use a phone, because she was the only person with a phone,
Yeah.
with a house phone.
Yeah. Oh,
at
Nick
that time.
told me.
But my grandmother was the first person, I swear, to invent disinfectant wipes.
What type of wife she had?
So she used to have like a chitlin bucket. A little chitlin bucket used to be the red bucket. So she take bleach and pour some bleach in the chitlin bucket and get her old little rag. And when somebody come use the phone, she'll take the rag and wipe the phone off with it. So that was, she had disinfectant back then.
Yeah, that's it.
She was disinfecting stuff back then, man.
Yeah, they.
I had some questions, right? You've seen a lot of history. Let me ask you this question: when and this may be going there real fast, but what was it like when Black people found out Dr. King was assassinated?
Yeah, well, it didn't make too much difference with them round down there where we was at.
Yeah.
Because they were in their own little world. And you know what that was, drug dealing and all that, man. And they wasn't worried about that. They just took it like, yeah, it made no difference.
So going back to, I guess, another part of Charles' question, what was it like when you had white only and black only? Like restaurants, restrooms, what was that time like?
Yeah, and they even in school bus segregated for a little while.
But how was that time for you?
Yeah, it seemed like it was pretty good, but they made out with it till it got back to where they could, all of them got together though, mostly ended up.
I remember hearing Granddaddy said when I was a kid, he said he thought segregation was the best thing for the black community. He said we took better care of ourselves and better care of our community because we depended on us more. And when we integrated, it just changed the way we valued each other as black people.
Yeah.
And I agree with that because he said even when you lived in the projects, he was like, man, the projects was the best place to stay. Because he talked about like, hey, if you got in trouble, everybody in the neighborhood would discipline you on your way home. So we straightened that problem out. So if you live 10 houses down, 9 people have gotten to you before you got to that 10th house, then dad waiting on you to get his piece. Ain't nobody saying, don't touch my child.
Yeah.
Everybody sees that's our child. You know, it's that community. So I know he talked about that heavily when I was a kid.
Yeah, they did.
What was
that
this?
was about what the white people lived in a segregated place, kind of like more. It wasn't really segregated. It saved like that man, like I was telling you about the one that helped him. He did it all the time. He was going to help him wherever he went to jail or wherever it was, he was going up there and get him anyway.
Yes, ma'am.
If he was up there first, he go get it. He know what he be doing, drinking on, and he know all of that. He know, yeah.
But he still would look out for him.
He gonna look out for him because he gonna work that farm. He worked that farm, and I had a brother-in-law. He said, I don't give a I don't give a shit about what you do to Raymond.
Here we go.
He said, he going to that dentist and get that tooth pulled and come on back to work. That's what he gonna do. That was my brother-in-law. He was working for him too. But he was drinking, trying to be out. But he had a standard that he had with
the boss.
With the boss.
So let me ask you some random questions, because people think I'm lying when I say this. And all you gotta do is answer yes or no. Do you listen to trap music or rap music?
Rap music, yeah, listen to it.
Yeah.
All of it. We used to be in Florida when we first married to the Paula Hollandale in Hollandale, Florida.
Oh, down in Hollywood, man.
Hollandale, Florida.
Down in Miami, Fort Lauderdale. You see that face light up, boy. It was a good old time, boy. It was a time had.
Amen. Then had a friend, she called me, she said, I got so-and-so, I want to use your car. And he give it to her because she gonna bring some money back.
How you want how you got the we don't want how you got
Hey, listen.
What you want to talk about how you got the money?
Statute of limitation gone before I
back.
go. Yeah, it's over.
Yeah, she gonna make that money. He know that.
Let me ask you this now. Being 87, what does family mean to you?
Oh, family is, that's all. My life, I try to love, and my family's loving is part of it.
Absolutely.
All the time.
Hmm.
I think they really know it.
You got anything, bro?
Yeah, I'm curious. What's the best advice anybody ever gave you?
Oh.
The best advice is always look forward. Don't look backwards to things in your life, because they are the ones that you're going to make it through. And I have. I always looked forward, and I made it through. That was the only way I could make it, and I could see it. I make it through because the Lord had me in his hand and keeping me like he doing now, and kept me through ups and downs. He brought me. And I know it wasn't nobody but him that brought me. I went through a lot of things. Even when we first married, I went through being in the hospital and not knowing whether I come out or not. But I did. All right. So I know the Lord be with me all the time, and he's still with me. He got me for a purpose. All my brothers is gone, sisters and brothers.
So let me ask you this. If I were to put some teenagers in front of you, what would you tell them? We see a lot of what they going through. We see what type of stuff they get into. What would you have to tell them?
I tell them they should look back to some of the older ones and try to connect with them and talk to them. Like I was telling the lady the other day in dialysis. I go to dialysis, and I was telling her, she said, them the ones that the younger ones on, nurses in dialysis, she said, these the ones y'all should look to, these older ones, because we've been there. Yeah. And them the ones y'all need to look to. She wasn't as old as I am, because I'm the oldest one in dialysis.
You got to throw around your age. You're the oldest person in the room.
I'm the oldest one in dialysis. And she took to me when I got in dialysis. She said, that's my girl there. And she was the age of Nick's mama, 6 or something other, but she was telling them how they should go by with the men and things, getting them and all that stuff. So y'all should be asking, because y'all is out there. Yeah. We done already been there.
Yes, ma'am.
That's how y'all got to get there.
Got anything else before I close it out?
I just want to say it's a privilege to finally meet you. Nick talks so much about Triple OG. I done heard so much about you.
Yeah,
And then my great grandmother who raised me, her first name was Mattie Mae Hodges. So it's an honor to meet you and sit here. I'm glad you're here.
It's a blessing to be here too, and it's a blessing. My daughter, my granddaughter, Keeper is my granddaughter, great granddaughter is Keeper, great grand, Keeper, my great grand. She's a Jamaican, and I loved it. And when my grandson married her, she made me a rug, OG, down on the floor. You should have seen that rug. You see it, you think.
Shout out to Kiva.
Shout out to Kiva. Shout out to Kiva for the rugs, OG rugs.
Yeah.
You seen it.
Yes, man.
You know how good they is. She makes rugs. And it was pretty. OG she had on there, my rug.
So, OG, I'm gonna say this before I close out. This was probably like the episode for me. That's probably like it's probably my favorite. 43. I think to still have your grandmother, man, is just nothing short of amazing. I'm almost tearing up about it because I just know how blessed I am. Like when I called Charles, I just said, we got to do something with grandma. I told Trav too, like I got to get my grandma, like, cause you were in the hospital at the time, and I just kind of, you know, as more and more as life goes on, we just kind of see we're more closer to the end than the beginning.
You do.
So just try to be a space to where we can just celebrate the people
like it
who just really mean so much to me. And it's even like with me, you've given so much to the family, to me, my mother, all the children, the grandchildren, the great-grandchildren, and you continue just to give so much. I just wanted to celebrate you because because a lot of times, again, we don't get a chance to. And I talk to my friends all the time, and their grandmothers are not here. But I have mine. I can pick the phone up. I can call you. My grandmother's here of sound mind, body, soul. So I just wanted to thank you and just tell you that I love you. I appreciate you. You're the strongest woman I know. This is my baby, man. I love my grandmother more than anything.
That's it. The most important thing is kind of keep busy. So long as I can move and step, word puzzle books and reading. I mean, the person didn't ask me, can you read? They just put it on me, the thing there to read. They didn't ask me in the hospital, can I read? They thought I was crazy. You know, I knew what they were doing when they started the test. Move you to this floor and see what you're doing, then put this light on you and see, can you read this? Can you read that? I said, yeah. I stay active with my puzzle books and things when I want them. I know I got my school and I got that much of it. I didn't get all the way out of it, but I got enough to carry me through. I got far as the 11th grade in Detroit, and that was good enough for me. I had no trouble.
And I'm going to say this, and you are good enough for me. So we're going to close out another episode of Fern Podcast.
Another episode of Fern Podcast. We'll see y'all next time.